The morning light spilled through our bedroom window like a silent intruder, catching on the frame of the photo that would shatter everything. I'm Harper Lane. I'm 39, living in Asheville, North Carolina. Or at least I was, until my marriage turned to ash. I'd just poured my second cup of coffee when I found it. A printout, of all things, not a text, not a secret folder. A printed photo, tucked between the pages of a gardening magazine. I wasn't even snooping. I just liked the smell of paper and earth. In the photo, my wife Naomi was sitting on a rooftop bar, wearing that smile she used to give me before bed, head tilted, eyes playful. Only she wasn't looking at the camera. She was looking at the woman across from her. A redhead with her hand on Naomi's thigh. I stared at it for maybe a full minute. I tried to tell myself it was old. A prank. Hell, maybe even photoshopped. Then I saw the date stamped in the bottom corner. June 3rd. 2 weeks ago. The same weekend Naomi had taken our daughter to Atlanta for a college prep weekend. Except Lily, our daughter, came home raving about the spa, not a single college tour. I waited until Naomi got home that evening. She smelled like lavender and red wine. I stood there holding the photo. "This yours?" I asked quietly. She blinked. Looked at the photo. Then, she smirked. "You weren't supposed to see that." My throat tightened. "So it's true?" She shrugged. "Depends. What's true in a marriage that's already dead?" The words sliced right through me. "Dead to you, maybe." She looked past me, always past me, and said, "Harper, you haven't touched me in months. We're roommates with rings." I wanted to scream. Instead, I whispered, "And Lily?" "She knows." "She knows and didn't tell me." Naomi raised her brows. "She supports me." I froze. "She supports you cheating on me." Naomi didn't answer. She just walked upstairs like we'd finished talking. Like 20 years and 2 kids could be packed into a drawer and shut with a click. That night, I sat at the edge of my son Mason's bed, tucking him in. He's only 11. He looked up at me with those brown eyes that used to look just like Naomi's, but now all I could see was my own pain reflected back. "Mom," he whispered. "Are we gonna be okay?" I nodded. "Yes, baby. We're gonna be more than okay." But in my chest, I felt the crack deepen. Tomorrow, I would decide. Stay and rot, or walk away with what was still mine. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling while Naomi snored softly beside me, like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't just detonated our marriage with one careless smirk. By morning, I'd made my choice. I got Mason ready for school, made him waffles like I always did, and kissed his forehead a little longer than usual. Naomi was in the shower. I packed a small bag, just a few clothes, birth certificates, Mason's favorite sketchbook. When Naomi came down in her towel, I met her at the bottom of the stairs. "I'm leaving," I said. "With Mason." She looked me up and down. "Don't be dramatic." "This isn't drama. It's survival." Naomi scoffed. "You think you'll win some custody war by storming out with him?" "I'm not interested in war," I said, voice even. "I'm just not raising my son in a house where betrayal gets applause." That's when Lily came down. She was 17, still in her pajama pants, earbuds in. When she saw the bags, she pulled one out. "What's going on?" Naomi folded her arms. "Your mother is having a tantrum." I turned to Lily. "I found out about the affair. The one you knew about. And I'm taking your brother with me." Lily's face went blank. "You're leaving?" I nodded. "You can come if you want. We'd figure it out." Naomi jumped in. "She's not going anywhere. She's almost an adult, she needs stability, not to chase some emotional spiral across town." Lily hesitated. For a flicker of a second, I thought she might reach for me. Instead, she pulled her earbuds back in and muttered, "Maybe this is for the best." And just like that, my daughter, my firstborn, aligned herself with the woman who destroyed us. My knees nearly gave out, but I stayed standing. I wouldn't let them see me crack. An hour later, Mason and I drove out of Asheville with the windows down and the radio playing songs he liked. I kept smiling for him, even when my cheeks ached. We stayed in a motel that night. I let him watch cartoons until midnight. He curled up beside me and whispered, "I'm glad it's just us." I kissed his forehead. I'm glad, too. The next morning, I opened my laptop and searched for rentals in Durham. A friend from college, Tara, lived there. She was divorced, too. I texted her. "You still have that guest house behind your place?" She replied in minutes. "Yep. Fully empty. Come stay as long as you need." By the time the sun rose, I had a plan. A new city, a new life. But I had no idea that Naomi wasn't finished with me yet. Tara's guest house was small, just 2 bedrooms and a kitchenette, but to me, it felt like the first deep breath I'd taken in years. She greeted me with open arms and a bottle of cheap wine. "Harper, you don't owe me rent for at least 2 months. Let me help." Mason ran straight to the backyard and started kicking a soccer ball around. I watched him through the window and whispered, "He hasn't smiled like that in weeks." Tara just gave me that look, the one friends give when they're angry for you but don't want to say it out loud. We settled into a rhythm quickly. I updated my remote design job to show a new address, enrolled Mason in a summer art program, and started therapy. It felt like stitching myself back together, one thread at a time. Then, 3 weeks in, Naomi showed up. I was walking back from the mailbox when I saw her Lexus idling at the curb. She stepped out like nothing had happened. Designer sunglasses, manicured fingers, perfume that used to make me dizzy. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice flat. "I want to talk. About Mason." I glanced toward the backyard. Mason was playing with Tara's dog. Naomi followed my eyes. "He's my son, too. You lost the right to 2 when you made him collateral damage." She exhaled. "I made a mistake, Harper. You don't just disappear with my child over one mistake." "One mistake? You brought your affair into our daughter's confidence and let her lie to my face. That's not a mistake. That's manipulation." Her jaw tightened. "You're being petty. Protective." I corrected her. "There's a difference." She looked around, like the middle-class neighborhood offended her. "You really think this is better than coming home and co-parenting like adults?" "You want co-parenting?" I said, crossing my arms. "Then show up like one. File the paperwork. Prove you can put Mason first without turning it into a power play." She hesitated. "So that's what this is? A custody fight?" "No," I said quietly. "It's a safety plan." Her eyes narrowed. "Lily misses her brother. She made her choice." Naomi stepped closer. "You're going to turn them against each other now, too." I turned my back. "We're done here. You can call my lawyer." "I didn't know you had one," she snapped. I stopped on the porch and looked over my shoulder. "You should never underestimate the woman you betrayed." She drove off without another word. But 2 days later, I got a letter, not from Naomi, from her lawyer. She was filing for emergency custody. I stared at the legal document in my hands like it had teeth. Emergency custody. Her lawyer claimed I'd unlawfully removed Mason from our marital home and was withholding access. It made me sound like a kidnapper. I slammed the kitchen drawer shut, breathing hard. Tara set down her tea. "She's trying to intimidate you. She's trying to erase what she did." I called my lawyer, a sharp woman named Dana who I found through a local moms group. After reviewing everything, Dana leaned forward and said, "We're not just going to defend this. We're going to counter. Has Mason expressed his preference about where he wants to stay?" "Yes," I said instantly. "He doesn't want to go back." "Good. And I'm assuming you've documented his well-being here." Tara spoke up from the corner. "He's enrolled in school, in counseling, and he's been drawing again. I've got pictures of his art hung all over my fridge." Dana smiled. "Perfect. And what about Naomi's affair? Any proof?" I opened my phone, handed it over. "Start with this." Dana scrolled through the folder I'd created. The rooftop photo, texts between Naomi and the redhead. Her name was Bree, apparently, and a few awkward family shots where Naomi couldn't even fake a smile. Dana raised an eyebrow. Did your daughter know about the affair? I hesitated. She did. She sided with Naomi. Dana's lips pressed together. Not great, but also not our concern. Focus is Mason. The court hearing was set for 2 weeks later. I didn't tell Mason the details, just that I had to talk to a judge about our next steps. He nodded, like he understood more than he let on. The day of the hearing, Naomi showed up in a fitted navy suit and crocodile heels, like this was a fashion show. Bree was there, sitting in the back, pretending to be invisible. I wore a soft blue dress and no makeup. Just me. Mason wasn't present, thank God, but his voice echoed through the courtroom in the form of a recorded interview Dana had arranged with a licensed counselor. In it, Mason said clearly, "I feel safer with Mom. Not because I don't love Mama Naomi, but she doesn't talk to me. She's always with that other lady. I feel like she forgot me." Naomi's face tightened, but she didn't look surprised. Dana stood, calm and steady. "Your Honor, we are not asking to sever ties, only to honor the child's stated needs and preserve his emotional stability while the divorce proceeds." The judge, a gray-haired woman with soft eyes, looked over the papers and then right at Naomi. "You brought a third party into the marriage before separation was initiated. You've involved one child against the other parent. And now, you're trying to reverse that damage by legal force." Her gavel came down. Temporary full custody awarded to Harper Lane. Visitation to be arranged through mediation only. I felt something loosen in my chest, not a victory dance, just relief. But as I walked out of that courtroom, I caught Lily standing by the door. She didn't look angry. She looked conflicted. Lily didn't say a word. Just stood there in the courthouse hallway, arms folded, face pale beneath her makeup. Like she was seeing me for the first time in years. I stopped. "Lily." She looked past me, eyes scanning the exit. "I'm just waiting for Bree to bring the car." "Bree," I echoed. "Right. The woman who helped destroy your family." Her jaw tightened, but she didn't move. "It's not that simple." I stepped closer. "Then explain it to me." She finally looked at me. Really looked. "You were always so perfect," she said softly. "Always right. Always calm. And Mom, she was the wild one. The fun one. You controlled everything." That stung. "I protected everything. There's a difference." "I know now," she whispered. "But back then, it felt like she needed me more. Like she was the one who'd break without me. And I wasn't." I asked, my voice cracking. "You watched her cheat on me, and you said nothing. You chose her, Lily." "I didn't choose anyone," she said, eyes welling up. I froze. "I didn't want to lose either of you. I still don't." The automatic door behind her slid open. Bree waved from the driver's seat of Naomi's Lexus. "I have to go," Lily mumbled. She brushed past me, but I caught her wrist gently. "Just, don't let someone else's mess become your truth," I said. "You still get to decide the kind of woman you want to be." She paused. For a second, I thought she might cry. But she just nodded and walked away. That night, I lay awake in Tara's guest house, staring at the ceiling fan, feeling like I'd lost and won something in the same breath. Mason crawled into bed beside me, half asleep. "Did we beat the bad guys?" he mumbled. I ran my fingers through his hair. "We stood up to them. That's what matters." The next morning, I made waffles again. I didn't cry this time. Then Tara knocked on the door, holding her phone. "You need to see this," she said. I took it. The screen showed a video, recently posted by a mutual acquaintance on Instagram. It was from a charity gala in Asheville. Naomi was in the background, talking, loudly, to Bree. Drunk. Slurring. She took everything, Bree. The kid, the house, my reputation, and she's still playing the saint. Then she laughed. "But don't worry. She'll crash. She always does." My stomach turned. Tara leaned in. She posted that herself. Thought she was sending it to a private story. Naomi's voice echoed again. People like Harper. They need to be worshipped. Take that away, and they fall apart. Tara looked at me. You want to fall apart? Or make her regret ever opening her mouth? I felt something inside me shift. No, I said. I want her to watch me rise. That video lit something in me I didn't even know was still alive. Naomi hadn't just betrayed me. She was counting on my silence. Banking on me to retreat, to play the noble ex-wife while she played victim in designer shoes. But if she was going to gossip in cocktail dresses and smear me behind closed doors, I was done staying quiet. I started small. First, I filed for full physical and legal custody of Mason. No more temporary orders. Dana was confident. We've already got a foundation. Now we finish it. Next, I updated my professional website. Added a photo of Mason and me hiking, a short blog post titled "Starting Over Isn't Weak, It's Brave." It got shared. A lot. Then Tara introduced me to a local business group for women entrepreneurs. I showed up one Friday afternoon with nothing but my laptop and some branding samples. I didn't expect much. By Monday, I had 2 freelance contracts and a tentative offer to lead a rebranding project for a local nonprofit. People like you, Tara said over coffee. You don't need to chase anything. You just show up, and things start moving. That night, I posted a short video of Mason and me painting our new apartment walls. Just a time-lapse, nothing flashy. But within a few days, I got a DM. From a woman named Joelle. An editor at a lifestyle publication. Your story caught my attention. Would you be willing to do a feature? Single mom. Reinvention. Fresh start. We think readers would connect. I hesitated. Then I said yes. The feature ran under the title, She Left with Her Son and Found Her Power, a story of starting over. It was tasteful. Honest. It didn't drag Naomi's name through the mud. I refused to do that. But it did make one thing clear. I was thriving. The same day the article went live, Naomi emailed me. Just one line. You really think this changes anything? I didn't reply. Instead, I took Mason to his art show, a little event hosted by the summer program he was in. He stood by his favorite piece, a sketch of a mountain with 2 tiny people at the top. Us. A woman approached me, smiling. Are you Harper? Mason's mom? Yes, I said, smiling back. I read your piece, she said. I'm on the board for the local community center. We're launching a support program for women starting over. I think your voice would be perfect. I blinked. You're serious? Very, she said. We pay well. And your story? It's exactly what women need to hear right now. I accepted the offer a week later. And 2 days after that, Naomi lost her job. It started with a LinkedIn update. Naomi's profile suddenly read, former director of events at Bexley Group. Former. I didn't gloat. Not out loud. But I did read the update 3 times just to be sure. Then I got the email from Dana. Harper, just FYI, Naomi's employer conducted an internal audit. There was an anonymous tip about her using company funds during that Atlanta trip. Guess who flagged it? I stared at the screen. I hadn't sent anything. But I knew who did. Lily. I hadn't heard from her in weeks. No calls, no texts. Just silence. But someone had finally drawn a line between ethics and loyalty. That night, I sent her a message. You okay? It took hours for her to respond. Not really. But I'm thinking clearer now. That was enough for me. Meanwhile, Naomi's world began to quietly collapse. Bree had posted a cryptic Instagram story. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Her account went private the next day. I didn't follow. I had too much going on. The community center launched the Rise Again initiative, and I became its public face. I hosted 3 panels in 1 month, was featured in another article, and started mentoring women rebuilding their lives after toxic relationships. The best part. Mason was thriving. He'd made friends, he laughed more, he slept through the night again. One afternoon, I found him in his room sketching a picture of 4 people. Me, him, Tara, and our dog Max. I pointed to the empty space on the edge. "Who's that spot for?" He shrugged. "Someone new. Someone good." I hugged him tight. But not everything was soft edges and healing. Naomi still had partial visitation rights, though she wasn't using them much anymore. She'd gone quiet, probably nursing her bruised ego. Until the day I got a call from her lawyer. "She wants to settle. She'll sign full custody over to you, with 0 financial claim. No alimony, no joint assets, nothing." I blinked. "Why?" "She's in damage control. The job loss, the misuse of funds, the affair, it's all starting to follow her. She wants out clean." I swallowed. "And Lily?" The lawyer paused. "Still lives with her. But I think that may change." I agreed to the settlement the next morning. I wanted no more ties to Naomi. No courtrooms. No arguments. Just peace. Later that week, I got a text from Lily. "Can I visit?" I replied instantly. "Always." She showed up that Saturday, alone, with a duffel bag and tear-stained cheeks. I didn't ask questions. Just pulled her into my arms and whispered, "You're home." She nodded against my shoulder. And for the first time in a long time, we were whole again. It was a golden October morning when the custody paperwork officially arrived, a clean, signed surrender. Sole custody. No strings. No alimony. No visitation. I held the envelope in both hands like it might bite me. It didn't. It just sat there, light as a feather, heavy as a lifetime. I called Mason into the kitchen. "It's done," I told him gently. "You're staying with me. Forever." He blinked, like he didn't quite believe it. Then he smiled and hugged me so hard I nearly dropped the papers. Tara baked a cake that night. Lily helped her decorate it, awkwardly at first, then with her usual perfectionist streak. We all ate together on the porch, Mason chasing Max in the yard, Tara sipping wine, Lily beside me, quieter than before, but more grounded. "Mom," Lily said after a long pause. "I want to transfer schools." I turned to her. "Are you sure?" She nodded. "Naomi's not doing great. And I don't think she even wants to be a parent right now. She's looking for someone to blame. I don't want to be her excuse anymore." Tears pricked my eyes, but I held them back. "You don't have to prove anything to me, baby." "I know," she whispered. "But I want to." Weeks passed. Then months. Life didn't magically turn perfect, but it turned real. The community center's Rise Again program expanded. I was offered a full-time leadership role. I accepted. My freelance design business stayed strong, but my heart had shifted. Helping other women find their footing after betrayal gave me purpose I didn't even know I needed. Naomi faded from our lives like smoke. Bree moved out, rumor had it, after Naomi burned through another job and tried to crash Lily's graduation planning. She wasn't invited. Not by me. Not by Lily. That June, Lily walked across the stage in a royal blue gown, her hand squeezing mine when she saw me in the crowd. Afterward, she gave me a letter. Inside was a photo of the 4 of us, me, her, Mason, and Tara, framed in gold. On the back she had written, "I chose wrong once. But I know who my mother is now." I cried on the spot. That night, I stood outside under the stars while Mason drew constellations in chalk across the porch. Lily sat beside me, laughing with Tara. And I realized something. Naomi didn't just lose me. She lost the version of me she thought would crumble. Instead, I rebuilt. Quietly. Powerfully. Without vengeance. She lost her mask. I found my voice. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't just surviving. I was free.